I'm Anya with Rails to Trails Conservancy.
Hi everyone, this is Ben from Team RTC.
Hi, this is Suzanne from the Rails to Trails Conservancy team.
This is Anthony from Team RTC.
We hope that you're staying safe and healthy during these difficult times.
The entire Rails to Trails Conservancy team is wishing you and your loved ones well.
We're making sure that we are keeping our social distance either in our backyards or in our local neighborhoods or on a local trail.
Rails to Trails Conservancy is reimagining our opening day for trail celebration as one that we can all celebrate safely together at home.
This all virtual celebration will take a moment to say thank you to our trails and to the people who make them possible.
A lot of people are using trails now to get fresh air, to get exercise, just to get some really valued outdoor time. And that's what the celebration is about.
We'll be bringing in voices from the trails movement to share stories of hope and resilience.
Thank you for all your support and
welcome to Celebrate Trails at Home. Let's go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to RTC's Celebrate Trails at Home event today. We are so happy that you're able to join us here virtually. You're going to see a lot of faces, some that you'll recognize from all over the country and others that might be new to you, but we've been really lucky to be able to gather staff, RTC board members, and partners from all across the country today to take what would have been our national celebration of opening day for trails online. You'll see many of us have virtual backgrounds with some of our favorite trails or favorite trail experiences to just bring a taste of the outdoors to everyone from our homes today. Really glad to be able to be here with you all. During this difficult and unprecedented time, we have all at Team RTC been so grateful for the role that trails have been able to serve to people all across the country as they've looked for places to be outside, to be safe, and to maintain their physical activity during this moment. And we've been really lucky to have the support of all of you to be able to continue to do our jobs to provide resources to trail managers so that they can manage the surge in trail use that's happening all across the country right now, as well as to provide the most up-to-date public health guidance and information to folks at home. So thank you for all of your support. We're so grateful to be here with you today. So this celebration is going to be a little bit different. It is, usually we're all together and we're doing fun things on the trail. So we're going to try and do some fun things here on our computers from home, but we're also going to share some important information. So we're going to start our celebration today with a little bit of insight into the public health guidance about what's happening right now in our communities and on trails. We also have stories of hope and resilience and messages of gratitude for our trails that will be shared from all across the country. And we hope that you'll share some of those stories with us in your Facebook prompts as well. So you'll take a look at the comments. There will be questions that will be popping up for you, asking you just to tell us some of what's happening in your community, to tell us what you're doing to stay active and well, to show off your face coverings, whatever it is that you're using in your community to protect yourself and to protect your neighbors. We will be selecting some winners of prizes throughout the broadcast. We'll notify folks on the air if we're able to, and we'll also notify folks on Facebook and connect with you afterwards as well. Folks will be randomly selected from the comments, the things we would have done at those in-person events. We have some great swag to be able to share with you all. Hydro Flask graciously has sponsored our events today, and we have great water bottles, and we also have great Hydro Flask backpacks. We have some really cool RTC gear. And later on today, we'll also get into our grand prize for folks who pledge to be a part of this day with us. If you want the full terms and conditions, those are available on railstotrails.org/celebrate trails. So if you have any questions about winning and what those rules are, you can do that there. So before we get started, I wanted to show off all of the friends who are with us today. So can I get a gallery view and a big hello? Wave. All right. It's great to be here with you all, and thank you again for making the time to join us as we give this moment for trails. So first up in our agenda is RTC's president, Ryan Chou, and he is at home with his daughters, Sophie and Naomi, and they're going to tell us a little bit about what trails mean to them, but also Ryan's going to tell us a little bit about what RTC has been doing in response to COVID-19.
Thanks, Brandy. Hello, I'm here with my daughters, Sophie and Naomi, and we want to welcome you to Celebrate Trails at Home. The background you see here is a national mall in Washington, D.C. It's also the easternmost leg of the Great American Rail Trail. In normal times, it's part of my daily commute. I sometimes imagine I'm starting or ending an epic journey across the country as I ride to or from the office.
That's cool, Dad.
Hey, Sophie. So guys, I have a few questions for you. First, what's your favorite trail?
The Baltimore Annapolis. The Great Allegheny Passage.
Great choices. Okay, and what's your favorite thing to do on trails?
Ride my bike. Walk our dog Daisy.
Very good. Do you guys miss going to school now?
Yes. Not really.
Well, you two may not agree on a lot of things. I have one more question. Do you love trails?
Yes.
Yep. We all love trails, and we thank everyone in the trails movement for bringing these essential assets to our communities. During the pandemic, trails have been vital for helping many people safely get outdoors and stay healthy. At Rails to Trails are honored to be of service at this challenging time. We've been busy sharing public health advice on how to maintain wellness while practicing social distancing. As we see a surge in the need for safe outdoor activity, we advocate for cities to close streets to open them for walking and biking. So, taking up this approach right now. That's pretty cool, huh, guys?
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank all of you, friends and partners, for doing your part during this time to help others. When the pandemic is over, we can't wait to connect, rejoice, and help build a trail in every community in this country.
Take care. Stay safe.
And thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. And it was so nice to see your girls. And I love hearing about your favorite trails. We all have trails that are close to our hearts, and many of them have been able to remain open in this time. And for that, we are all so grateful. And it's thanks in large part to the extraordinary effort of the trail managers across the country who are just changing operations guidelines, changing, where you can park, if you can park, what that looks like, so that they can make sure that they are creating a safe place for people to be at this moment in time. And next up is from our board, Jim Salas. He is with UC San Diego, and we invited him today to join us to share a little bit about why it is so important that we are maintaining access to these outdoor spaces and why physical activity matters so much right now. Jim?
Okay, thank you, Brandy. And I'm coming to you virtually from the trail nearest my house. This used to be a streetcar line here in San Diego. So what do people do on trails? They're active. So this is fantastic because being active is one of the most powerful forces for health that we have. And it can be fun and wonderful as well. Activity is important all the time, but there's some specific benefits related to this COVID pandemic. One of the benefits that relates to everybody is that physical activity helps us manage stress. It reduces psychological stress and the physiological impact of stress as well. People also that are most at risk from the virus and severe cases of it have conditions like heart disease and diabetes and cancer. And all of these are reduced by physical activity. So being active helps you be resilient to the virus. And for people who are exposed, having fitter and healthier lungs is going to help you resist the infection. Every time that you are active, you improve your immune functioning, which is an obvious benefit. You also reduce inflammatory process, and the inflammation produced as your body fights the virus is what produces a lot of the lung damage that people are experiencing. So this helps as well. So it's important for everyone to be active all the time, but it may be especially important now. And so we all need places to be active. And every place that I know of, even when trails might be closed or beaches might be closed, it's still legal to be active outdoors. It's considered an essential activity, which is great. So in my perfect world of a next step, that we would say that rather than closing places to be active like trails, it would be better to monitor them, to educate people about how to be safe on the trail and how to enforce physical distancing. So every time that you're active, it's great, and we can't wait till we can get out on the trails, but wherever you're active, be physically distant from other people, but still enjoy your activity. So back to you, Brandy.
Thank you so much, Jim. And it's such a good reminder to all of us that we do need to find ways to practice self-care right now. This is such an unprecedented moment in the world's history and in all of our lives. And so being physically active and having that space matters. What we've heard from a lot of trail managers and city officials that we talk to is that it's up to us to be able to keep these trails and these outdoor spaces open. In some places, you know, people are not practicing social distancing guidelines. They're not sharing the trail with their neighbors and making sure that that space is protected and staying open. So just on your screen now, you'll see some of our guidance for folks in the COVID-19 pandemic for what share the trail looks like and means right now. Really important that when you're on the trail, you do not stop and gather in groups, that you always maintain that 6 feet of social distance between yourselves and others. Many playgrounds have been closed, but where they are open, you should avoid them. It's a place where people tend to gather. There's a lot of opportunity for you to really just kind of keep being active and keep moving. A lot of facilities on trails, services may have been limited, so you might not have bathrooms, you might not have trash service, and you might not have working water. So bring your own water, carry whatever trash you have. Leave no trace matters a lot right now because staff is short in many places because folks are trying to preserve those essential services for other things in the community. And then follow all those good public health guidelines. Don't touch your face, wash your hands frequently. When you come home, change your clothes, wash your hands, things like that. And more, we're asking people and we're seeing people wearing face coverings in places where they may or may not be able to guarantee that safe social distance. And then another really important Share the Trail reminder, we know at RTC and all of our trail users all across the country just how important trail etiquette is. So making sure you're respectful of yielding to bicyclists and that bicyclists are passing on the left and announcing themselves, that when you're walking, you're not taking up the whole pathway. If you stop, you move to the side so that people can get by you. Right now, we have so many trail users out there that they're new to the trail. And this is an exciting moment for trails. People are learning and discovering these places in their communities, but they don't know maybe all of the rules. They don't know what that trail etiquette looks like. So for those of us who do, we need to model that behavior, and we need to use this as an opportunity to really make everyone feel welcome and included in these spaces. It might be the only outside space that some folks have at the moment. So that's really, really important. So next up, we're going to have Dr. Rose Gowen from Brownsville, Texas. She's also on RTC's board. She's a city commissioner in Brownsville, and she's a medical doctor there. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about what they're doing in Brownsville to keep people safe in terms of encouraging face coverings at the moment. Rose, and we'll give Rose a second here to pop up.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Oh, there she
Okay,
is.
there I am. Good. Hello, and thank you, Brandy, for that introduction. I want to take a few moments to talk about facial coverings. One of the things that we've learned about COVID-19 is that there is at least 25% of positive people who are asymptomatic. That means that a quarter of the positive people have no symptoms at all. They have no fever, no cough, no sore throat. They don't feel sick. However, they can still transmit the virus to others without knowing it. Wearing a face covering prevents a person from transmitting COVID-19 to others. So I wear my facial covering so that I protect those around me. And in turn, the people around me protect me by wearing their facial coverings. The theme of I protect you, you protect me is growing. And when in a room or an area with others, the space itself is safer if we are all wearing facial coverings. On top of that, it prevents you from touching your face regularly, and that's very important in the transmission of COVID-19. The city of Brownsville decided that we needed to aggressively consider mitigation tools. With a high rate of poverty, a high rate of uninsured, and a very high rate of diabetes, our people are at exceptional risk. So we adopted social distancing tools quickly, and we decided to include requiring people to wear a facial covering when they leave their homes and are in areas where social distancing is not possible. For instance, going to the grocery store, or pumping gas, or going to a drive-up to pick up food at a favorite restaurant. Cities and areas that have adopted required facial coverings early on have seen improvement in COVID. And so we unanimously voted to include this tool in our box. Here's some examples of facial coverings and how to remove and care for them. Keep in mind that they don't have to be fancy, and you don't actually have to spend money. And always keep in mind to reserve the surgical mask and the N95 mask for the healthcare workers on the front line. So here's my favorite one when I'm riding my bicycle. Of course, it's a Great American Rail Trail covering. I like it because when I'm riding alone and no one's around me, I pull it down. But when I'm riding and someone's coming towards me, I can pull this up really easily and back down. When I take it off, when I get home, I lift it from the top over my head and drop it immediately into the washer and wash my hands. Another kind is my fishing bandana. I didn't spend any money. I don't know if you can see this. It's just a bandana, and it just covers my face like a cowboy when I go to the grocery store. Again, it prevents me from touching my face. It protects those around me. And when I get home, I untie it and drop it in the washer for fast washing, and also wash my hands immediately. Or you can take 2 squares of fabric. I use this as an old blouse that I cut up to make this. And it comes, if you watch a video online, it makes a traditional looking mask with elastic bands around the ears. When I get home to take it off, I'm going to lift it off with the elastic bands and toss it in the wash, and again, wash my hands quickly. Or you could take an old t-shirt that you don't wear anymore, or maybe has holes in it, cut out a strip of the t-shirt, wrap it around your face like a scarf. You don't have to be fancy to have it work. Wearing a facial covering, wear a facial covering, because remember, I protect you and you protect me. Thanks, and have a great day.
Rose, thank you so much. And I agree. I think it's so nice to have, you know, I've been wearing my Great American Rail Trail face covering. Rose and I are twins today, but really making sure that you have access at home, whether it's a bandana or an old t-shirt, but really thinking ahead to have that material available on our website and in some of the resources that we've made available at railstotrails.org/COVID-19. We have pulled this video from Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams and the CDC that demonstrates how you can actually turn an old t-shirt into a face covering rather easily. So as Rose said, anything, any household item really can be turned into a face covering at this time to protect others around you when you're out and about on the trail or in your community. So thank you so much for that. And for everyone at home who is doing your face coverings, I think that we asked you in Facebook to show us a picture, and we have a winner. And his name is Tom Gates. Tom Gates showed us his face covering and was randomly selected. So Tom, when we're allowed to go to the post office again, we're going to send you a hydro pack backpack. And so it's a hydration pack. It'll help keep you hydrated out there on the trails. A t-shirt, a water bottle. So a nice little Rails to Trails Conservancy Celebrate Trails at Home prize pack for you. And thank you for wearing your face coverings and for staying safe out there. One other thing I wanted to note was that the CDC's website, coronavirus.gov, really easy to remember. They have all different resources about staying safe and well during this time that they're updating constantly. So the most recent update came last weekend. It was information about being safe in parks and recreational facilities. And I just want to underscore that they're continuing to say that being outside during this time is okay, that it is encouraged as long as you can maintain that physical distance, and really important guidelines that are very similar to what I just put up about Share the Trail to keep us all safe, and really encouraging folks to wear face coverings when you aren't sure if you can maintain that social distance. And on the trails, especially if the trails are becoming crowded in your community, that's a really important thing to do. I also wanted to talk quickly just about some of what RTC is doing to help protect and create more open space in people's communities. What we have seen in the past few weeks is unprecedented trail use. So as parks and recreation facilities and communities have had to close, as schools have closed, and so access to playgrounds and community space in that way has changed, as our gyms have closed, all sorts of places where we normally go for physical activity, our access to those places looks different. And so trail use has surged. In some parts of the country, it has been as high as over 400% increase in trail use compared to last year at this time. And the nationwide average is around 200% increase in trail use. And so some places, especially in more rural places, have continued to have really great place and space to be socially distant on the trail. But in a lot of more urban settings, we have seen really challenging situations where the trails are just quite crowded. And what has come to our attention is that there are just not enough places for people to be outside and active outdoors when they're trying to maintain that social distance. So we have joined with a lot of local advocates who have been calling for streets in their communities to be repurposed for walking and biking. And we have over 8,100 folks who have signed our petition to do that. And so we're encouraging you today, as part of your celebration, if there is a street in your community that you think would make a really great place to be active right now because traffic is reduced, or because there's a lot of families that live in that area that really need that space, whatever the motivation is for you, take a moment, you can sign our petition. You can also access our Advocacy Toolkit, which has a lot of resources for you to advocate directly to your local elected officials and your local agencies so that they can take action. And then we've just launched a new tool where you can propose a street. We really want to show visually the groundswell of support for this that's happening all across the country. So if you have a street that you want closed, you can pop that into our map, and it'll be really helpful for folks to be able to see how widespread this encouragement is from local citizens. We have so far nearly 20 cities, since this launched a couple of weeks ago, 20 cities that have actually shut down streets or changed and done different interventions on their streets to create more space for walking and biking and being active. And we think, this is the definition of social distancing will look different. How restricted our movements are or not will continue to evolve over the coming months, but just going back to life as usual isn't probably going to happen very quickly. And so the need for access to outside space is going to be really important and continue to be increasingly important as the weather improves. So we're going to go from this right into some messages from our partners. So as I've been saying, this was a great opening day for trail celebration that was supposed to be happening in places all across the country. And we had a handful of partners who were doing some of these events with us in their local communities. And we've asked them to join us today to talk a little bit about what they have going on the ground in terms of responding to and managing COVID-19 in their communities and on their facilities, but also just to share with us, what they're doing instead of opening day today. So first up, I have the Rock Creek Conservancy, and they're going to talk a little bit about, they had a huge event today, their biggest trail cleanup day of the entire year. And so Jeanne, do you want to tell us what you have going on?
Thanks, Brandy. I'm Jeanne Braja, the Executive Director of Rock Creek Conservancy. And Rock Creek Conservancy is a philanthropic partner to Rock Creek National Park in Washington, D.C., as well as the voice for the Rock Creek Watershed. I want to thank Brandy and the rest of the team at the Rails to Trails Conservancy for giving us a party to celebrate today. Today would have been our extreme cleanup, where we mobilize almost 2,000 volunteers throughout the about 80 square miles of Rock Creek Watershed to come out and help clean up litter, which is the visible form of stormwater pollution. In lieu of that extreme cleanup, we are doing things like this, celebrating virtually, and also encouraging all of our community members, and you don't have to be in Rock Creek to do this, to participate in what we call socially distanced stewardship. As you're out doing your safe and healthy exercise on a trail or even on those streets in your neighborhood, we encourage people bring along a pair of gloves and a trash bag and pick up that litter before it can get into our parks or on our trails. And that's also a great way that we can thank our partners in those parks who are keeping them open and accessible to all of us so that we have that gym, that therapist during this very difficult time. We're particularly grateful that the National Park Service has extended the weekend closures of Beach Drive, so there's more space for us all to spread out beyond those more than 40 miles of trail in Rock Creek Park. And Montgomery Parks has opened a section of Beach Drive in the Rock Creek Stream Valley Parks, also Friday through Sunday, so people can get out there and have extra space. So with that, I thank you for including us. Hope we get a chance to go out in person one day sometime soon.
Thank you so much, Jeanne. Me too. Can't wait to get back out. Right now, it's not appropriate for me, even though I live in the DC metro area, it's not appropriate for me to go to Rock Creek Conservancy because much of the guidance is you should be going to places where you can walk or bike from your home. So if for everyone at home paying attention, right now, this is the trail behind me is the BB Spur Trail in Vermont. It's right at the border of US and Canada. And it's lovely and beautiful. And I had a great adventure there a couple of summers ago. But right now, it's not appropriate for me to go there. I have to wait until we're allowed to have more movement between our communities. And so right now, you should be looking for those trails and those outdoor facilities that are near your home, walking and biking distance. That's the CDC's latest guidance as well. And you should go to traillink.com. Where you can find walking and biking directions to all of the trails that we have mapped, 37,000 miles all across the country. So it's a great resource for you. If you don't know how to walk and bike to a trail in your neighborhood, and you're not sure if there is anything walkable and bikeable to you, you can look there. And if there isn't, you can ask for space and you can sign the petition, use our tools, reach out to your local officials to see if they can help you access more space by maybe repurposing a street or thinking about how to widen sidewalks or things like that with temporary infrastructure right now. So another really exciting thing about Rock Creek Park Trails is that it is on the eastern end of the Great American Rail Trail, which is RTC's signature project, 3,700 miles from Washington to Washington. And so today we were going to celebrate a lot of Great American Rail Trail sites. We were also going to celebrate Trail Nation sites, and Trail Nation is RTC's initiative to connect trails in, right now it's 8 communities all across the country. And so I'm going to turn it next to Eric because in Ohio, we had a lot of events both for the Great American Rail Trail and Trail Nation planned. So some of our partners from Ohio are with us, and Eric Oberg, who is our director of the Midwest Regional Office, is on. So Eric, tell us about what you guys had been thinking about and doing in Ohio.
Thank you, Brandy. It's great to be here. Thank you to all of you who have joined us today. Obviously, this is a little different than we all expected. We thought we'd be outside enjoying what makes trails special and why all of us care about them. I'm going to start just by saying how thankful I am for trails. Before I get into what we're missing outside today, I just want to, I think all of us, all of you tuned in, we all enjoy trails for our own special reasons, right? And not being able to be out there has highlighted that in so many ways. And many of you are probably wondering what this picture is behind me. This was 20 years ago, my first introduction to the trail world. I was me and my fellow trail dogs in Denali National Park building hiking trails at the top of the Thoroughfare Ridge Trail. So that started a 20-year career in the trail world. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I sure wish we were outside today. I want to talk a little bit about what was going to happen. We had such an exciting day planned in Ohio, and these things are still going to happen. We just don't get to do them all together on April 18th. We were going to have a ribbon cutting on the Great American Rail Trail in Battelle Darby Metro Park, just outside of Columbus along the Camp Chase Trail. It's going to be a wonderful time with so many partners, and we still look forward to doing that. It just won't happen today. There was going to be opening day celebrations all over Ohio, from Xenia to Yellow Springs to Springfield to London to Dayton, and just so many wonderful partners had so many exciting things planned today, and we look forward to getting back out on the trail with all of them. Cleveland was going to have a huge celebration with things happening all over. And I want to say, when we do get back out on the trails, when we do get to travel to our favorite trail again, remember to support those people, your trail managers, your local parks and rec departments, those people who make trails accessible, safe, and make those places a part of your community. They're going to need your help. They're going to need your support more than ever coming out of this. The pressure on them right now is immense. The way they do their job has changed 180 degrees from the way they normally do their jobs. So please remember them. Remember them now. Be thankful for them now, and let's really show them our support when we can start moving around. They're going to need it. And no organization embodies the way that our public agencies help us get outside, enjoy trails. Like my friend, the CEO of Cleveland Metro Parks, Brian Zimmerman. Nobody does it better than Cleveland Metro Parks. So Brian, thank you for being with us.
Well, Eric, that was very kind and humbling. I'm broadcasting you live from Cleveland right now. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Very good. It is an absolutely amazing time. We did a virtual tour hike this morning with our team over in North Chagrin. If you can see the skyline in the background, I'm actually out. I've done almost 9 miles today. It was one of my kind of social distancing mornings. My wife and I have taken an opportunity to take in different parks and be challenged to see different parts of this wonderful 24,000 acres. Our teams are challenged, they're pushed. We talked early in March about how the parks will be the spot, and we've definitely lived up to that. We've seen record visitation, 137% increase in overall visitation in the last month. We've had people going out to take a look at things. We have definitely moved and pivoted. We've closed 10 miles worth of roads. We came up with a campaign using one of our buzzards who has a 6-foot wingspan. Do your part, stay 6 feet apart. So we're working on keeping all of these factors. We've done PSAs, we've done videos. We've really tried to stay ahead of the curve as much as we absolutely can. And now we're really looking at our strategies moving forward. What does the park system look like for 2020? It's going to look vastly different, but it's really a reconnection. And I think it's a unique opportunity to see different parts of not only our park system at Cleveland Metro Parks, but there's over 70,000 acres of partner land between Lake, Lorraine, Geauga, Medina, Summit County, and our wonderful and rich Cuyahoga Valley National Park. We couldn't be more proud to be included in today. I am taking in the trails and doing my part. Pack in, pack out, bring your water bottle, and use the restroom because they are limited at best. So thank you for being part of this, and we really appreciate everything Rails to Trails does. And I want to kick it off to our partners down in the south at 5 Rivers. Randy, can you take it away?
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, this is Randy Ryberg with 5 Rivers Metro Parks. I'm the cycling coordinator, and I'm here in Dayton, Ohio, home to the Miami Valley Trails, the nation's largest paved trail network. We have over 350 miles of connected off-street paved trails. It's a tremendous resource for our community, and it's really proving extra special during this time. We have marketing campaigns going out as well, similar to encourage people to get out. We've already spoken a little bit today about the benefits of being outside, connecting with nature, how it de-stresses us, we stay active, improves our mental health and our physical health. And trails are really a key to doing that. My family spends a lot of time outside every day. Hiking and biking in our region's trails is really our favorite way to unwind. And I have 3-year-old twin boys that just learned to ride pedal bikes. They spend hours riding around our backyard in circles on our patio. I get dizzy watching them every day. Sometimes I'll grab my mountain bike and go out and have fun with them. It's a good way for me to practice my skill, stay fit, unwind, and it's, of course, showing off for my boys. And it's impossible to not, let all my worries go away. And this extra time that we have at home practicing has helped my boys get ready for their first trail ride that we did just last week. So this time really is an amazing time to take advantage of. Cycling is really near and dear to my heart. It's my job, it's my life. My family loves doing it. And it's a great way to get your kids out, especially practice, get extra time on the bike and enjoy our trails. That's all I have today. Thanks for letting me share. Next, we have Greg Alexander with the Friends of Madison County Parks and Trails.
Thank you, Randy. I don't need to ask. Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Greg Alexander. I'm a pediatrician here in London, Ohio. I'm very honored to be the current board chair here for FMCPT, which is the Friends of Madison County Parks and Trails. Very happy to be joining the Opening Day celebration as well. Speaking of celebrations, FMCPT is currently celebrating their 20th year. We have several of our board members who've been with us from the very beginning, who helped start things. I'd like to give a quick shout out to Wayne Rogers, Mike Michael, and Jeanne Pass, who've done so much over these past 20 years. This year, we're working on some special promotions to help celebrate our 20th year, but this coronavirus curveball has really kind of had us re-strategizing. So we'll be announcing things on our website, fmcpt.com, and on Facebook as we reprioritize. Currently, we're busy sprucing up the trail. After winter, we're pruning and planting many more native wildflowers along the trail. We're pulling together a Clean the Trail event to try to engage people who use the trail to actually help clean it up, share it on social media, and be entered into a drawing, but working on that. At our prairie grass trailhead, at the trailside camping area, we're clearing, mulching, generally primping. The late freezes have us kind of holding off on turning on the water fountains just yet, but we do have a really nice indoor bathroom and everything there is fully functional. Trail counters have verified what everybody's saying. Our trail numbers are going through the roof. We just hope it lasts once we're all able to break free. So anyway, we're real happy to be here. Thanks so much for letting us join.
Greg, thank you so much. And thank you to everyone in Ohio for all you do. Ohio is one of the great trail states in the country, and we're also grateful for your leadership and all that you are doing right now to keep things open for folks. And Cleveland has been a real leader in trying to open up more expanded space for folks and closing those park roadways so that people can be able to spread out a bit more in the park system, which has been great. We also have a few other partners with us here today from the Circuit Trails in the greater Philadelphia region, another area that has been way ahead of the curve and calling for their city officials to close park roads to be able to spread out more when you're out walking and biking. And also another place where we normally do just huge opening day festivities. And so I want to kick it off first with the William Penn Foundation, Andy Johnson. We're so thankful for their sponsorship and their support of our work all of the time and all of that they're doing for outdoors and the watershed and trails in the greater Philadelphia region. Andy?
Thank you, Brandy. As Brandy said, my name's Andy Johnson and I'm director of the Watershed Protection Program at the William Penn Foundation in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I live across the Delaware River from Philadelphia in Haddonfield, New Jersey, which is where I am at this moment. And I'm happy to be here and appreciate the invitation. The William Penn Foundation is a proud supporter of the Circuit Trails in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and of the Alliance for Watershed Education, which is a network of 23 nature centers that are on the Circuit Trails. My virtual background image is a photo of the pedestrian walkway and bikeway on the Ben Franklin Bridge, which crosses the Delaware River between Philadelphia and Camden, New Jersey. And I use this image because the Ben Franklin is emblematic of how the Circuit Trails in our region connect communities, and they also provide unprecedented public access to many of the Delaware River watershed rivers and streams, and in particular, urban waterways. Many of these waterways have staged remarkable recoveries under the Clean Water Act over the years and have become ecological and recreational community assets, but many of the urban waterways were inaccessible. Circuit Trails and the Alliance for Watershed Education Centers enable millions of people literally to get closer to these waterways. But there's much more work to be done to protect and restore our rivers and streams in our region, and I think nationally. And many organizations we support are making the connection between trail users and public access to waterways and building a constituency for clean water, which is something that's a high priority for the William Penn Foundation. These are just a few reasons why, important reasons why the Circuit Trails and the Alliance for Watershed Education Centers are an important part of building community resilience in greater Philadelphia. So thank you for the opportunity to celebrate. And now I'm proud to introduce Julie Slavitt, the Executive Director of Tacony Frankfort Watershed Partnership.
Hey, good morning. So it's really wonderful to be here and really an honor to be introduced by Andy Johnson. I was really excited when I looked at the list and saw that he was right before me. This has happened a couple of other times with Rails to Trails events. So thank you and yay Philadelphia. And thank you, I just want to say thank you how important the support of the William Penn Foundation has been really as a leader in this region for trails, for the Alliance for Watershed Education, for our rivers. It's, you know, we are so fortunate to have them as a funder and as a partner. So we are the Tacony Frankfort Watershed Partnership. I'm the executive director. Again, my name is Julie Slavitt. We are a watershed organization. So our focus is on creeks and clean water, but we know we have learned and been supported by programs like the Alliance for Watershed Education. We know how important it is, how important trails are to get people next to waterways. And how important it is to connect our constituents along trails to waterways and to water. We also know the areas that our 30 square mile watershed in Philadelphia is a very suburban and urban watershed. And our neighborhoods in Philadelphia that surround Tacony Creek and Tacony Creek Park and the Tacony Creek Park Trail are neighborhoods that are home predominantly to people of color who really face environmental justice and health issues. Which we have certainly been seeing in terms of the COVID outbreak, that's really impacting people, you know, in the same way that's sort of our you know, institution of people equitably. So we, you know, we take our work very seriously, and I'm behind me, I think I'm going this way. I'm along the Tacony Creek Park Trail and Creek in Philadelphia. It's a 3.2 mile circuit trail, part of the regional circuit. It will eventually connect to, along the Frankfort Creek Greenway to the Delaware River and the East Coast Greenway. We are so excited about that. And it will also connect, we are working to make sure that it connects into Montgomery County. So this is a really important trail connecting, you know, suburban Philadelphia into the city. What behind me is one of my favorite spots along the trail. You can see it's a pretty urban trail, really, you know, surrounded by pretty dense neighborhoods. And this is really the only watershed green space in these communities. And this is a favorite spot of mine and really sort of connects to Rails to Trails in that it's a beautiful slice of nature. There are, I keep trying to move the other way there, along this bridge, there's a lot of moss and ferns and lichen that have grown along this former railroad bridge, which is now a PICO right-of-way. So the trail goes right by that. It's a really beautiful spot that reminds us of the industrial history of Philadelphia. And I was out there yesterday when I took this picture, and people were running and jogging and whizzing by me on bicycles and walking their dogs. So our trail has definitely seen an increase, which we are very happy about. It's a trail that needs more activity and more love. And that's presenting us with some challenges, but also in a very positive way. So thank you. It's really an honor. I'm so happy I emailed yes to this invitation. It's really wonderful to see all the work that's happening across the country, and that, you know, the social distancing resources are really valuable. Thank you so much for sharing them. And I think next coming up after me is Meredith Brown from the New Jersey Tree Foundation.
All right, hi everybody. My name is Meredith Brown. I'm with the New Jersey Tree Foundation. I'm the program coordinator for the Urban Airshed Reforestation Program. So I focus on planting trees in Camden and Gloucester City in New Jersey. And I live in Glassboro, which is home of Rowan University. And so behind me is a great picture and a great example of what we do and what our focus is along the circuit. This is the Cooper Point Park in Camden. It's a beautiful view of the Camden waterfront facing Philadelphia with the Ben Franklin Bridge. And this used to be the site of a jail that got converted into a park. It hosts a portion of the circuit. And in 2017 and 2018, the New Jersey Tree Foundation planted trees all along the trails. So thanks to a really generous grant with the William Penn Foundation, the New Jersey Tree Foundation is allowed to plant trees in Camden and Gloucester. Trees are a really important component of the trails, especially now and especially as we get into the warmer months. They shade the trails. Right now they're coming into bloom, so they're absolutely beautiful to look at. And they absorb stormwater runoff and purify the air. So they're a really important benefit in our urban communities, especially as more and more people get outside. So unfortunately, because of the situation, the Tree Foundation is not able to plant trees this spring like we were really hoping to. Today was supposed to be one of our larger projects. We were going to be planting trees in enhanced stormwater tree pits and really large tree pits in an area adjacent to the circuit trail in the Landing Square West neighborhood of Camden, working with some very trusted partners, longtime partners. So unfortunately, we're looking to the fall to plant. We're hoping to pick up again in the fall with our tree plantings. But for now, we are going to be staying very active on social media, and we're going to be increasing what we're doing, talking about tree care, talking about how to care for trees, even some things like food forests and community gardening, which is so important to our residents in Camden. And we're going to be moving Tree Keepers, which is our annual workshop, to a virtual format. We're actually going to be using Zoom. So I'm very excited to be on Zoom and practicing using it. So Tree Keepers is our annual workshop where we talk about tree care. It's really for the resident who adopted a tree through us at some point in the last year. So for the first time, we're going to move that into a virtual format and make it free for anyone who is interested in learning about trees, learning about tree care, and the environmental benefits of trees. So I encourage you to stay tuned, follow us on social media. We are going to be picking the dates for our classes. They should be in early May. So keep an eye out for that and feel free to register. We're really looking forward to moving this to a virtual format and seeing how many folks we can talk about trees and spread the word. And stay tuned as we plan, hopefully, fingers crossed, a fall season. We appreciate the circuit trail for being free, safe, and available ways to get out on the trail and to make an easy, accessible way to get some exercise during this challenging time. I know I access trails personally when I'm out and about trying to get some fresh air. So thank you, everyone. Please stay safe, and I appreciate all you do. Take care.
Thank you so much to all of our circuit partners and all of our Trail Nation partners all across the country. The work that's being done to connect trails, to create more interconnectivity between our outdoor places is exceptionally powerful. And right now, in this moment, when people are looking for places to be outside and to be active that are close to home, we are reminded so much how important that work is. And so we are grateful for your partnership, and we are grateful for your leadership. We also have some folks who should be watching us from home right now. So this is one of those weird things where we can't see them, but I think they can see us. And it's another partnership that we're engaged with called Climate Ride. And I think what Meredith and Julie and Andy shared about the environmental benefits of trails, the protection of the watershed, the role of trees in keeping us cool and healthy, but also keeping the planet healthy. That's a big part of what Climate Ride is all about each year. And it's really focused on getting people on their bikes and thinking about how you can do things differently in your own life to promote the environment and to take good care of the environment. So their ride also, you know, theme of the day, not happening in June, but they're doing a big celebration today where they're encouraging people to rise up in support of the climate from home. And so whatever it is that you can do, whether that's doing some cleanup right around your house and really following that environmentally or that socially distant trail stewardship that Jeanne spoke of earlier, or simply going online and registering and picking a beneficiary. And there are dozens and dozens of beneficiaries all over the country, including railstotrails.org, that you can opt to raise some funds for during this time and during this moment where we're all, you know, really unsure of what comes next, but doing really critical work to keep our outdoor spaces accessible, open, and to keep the environment healthy at this time. So super thank you to the Climate Rise folks for engaging with us for all of these years. We've been a Climate Ride beneficiary for a really long time, and we love to be a part of that, and we can't wait to get out and ride with you in 2021. And like what's happening with that national group all across the country, the national leadership of the trails movement is so powerful. There are long distance trails like the East Coast Greenway that are a part of this work with us and really leading to help connect the country by trail in new and different ways. And American Trails, longtime partner of ours that really helps to secure funding and resources for all types of trails, all multi-use hiking trails, equestrian trails, water trails all across the country. And we have both of those organizations with us here today. So I'm going to flip it over to Mike Passo first with American Trails just to tell us what's happening.
Hey, thanks, Brandy, and thank you, Ryan, and the rest of the crew at Rails to Trails Conservancy for inviting me. I have a bit of a confession to make here. You know, as a trail advocate, I often find myself thinking, you know, is it really appropriate to focus on trails when so many things are happening in our world that are really big and hairy and weird? And when I start thinking about that, I end up often kind of thinking back to the word recreation, and it comes from recreation, and that is essentially, you know, what we all do and what we hold dear in our hearts. And I find that you know, people identify themselves by how they recreate. And if that for any reason is taken away, that really strikes at the core of a person. It makes them not feel whole. And I feel like, you know, if for any reason it's taken away, if, you know, for me, I broke my back in the early 90s. And the thing that struck me at that time was I wasn't worrying that I couldn't walk anymore. It was more that I couldn't figure out how I was going to mountain bike again. And that gave me a bit of an epiphany that you know, trails and recreation really are about recreation and are hugely important to everybody's life. For others, it may be, I don't know, a global pandemic that keeps them from their preferred mode of recreation. And for still others, it could be, you know, losing your preferred access to a trail location due to a planning or a policy decision. So when I start to think that trails don't matter in this world, I guess I encourage all of us that are advocates and feel passionately about trails to remember that as we all claw our way out of this pandemic and stick our heads into the sunshine again, you know, many people are going to look to trails to use them to recreate themselves and to make themselves whole again after this whole experience. And for many people, the best way to do that is to get out on a trail. And I'm speaking to the choir here, obviously. But I think, you know, I think we're in for an explosion of trail importance. And I think an explosion of trail use coming out of this. We have to be careful. As we've all said, you know, we can't do it too early. We can't do it too soon. But when we can do it, boy, I think trails are going to matter as a way for us to keep ourselves whole and to make ourselves whole again. So keep that in mind. Keep doing what you're doing. You're all a great asset to the world and to the trails community especially. And thanks for everything you do on trails. And next up is Dennis from the East Coast Greenway.
Thank you, Mike. Yes, and all of the trail heroes that we've just heard from, you're amazing. And East Coast Greenway, we're really happy to be part of this. Greetings. You know, I'm here in the headquarters city of Durham, North Carolina. But as you can see on this map, we're connecting wonderful communities for the best blueberry pie to the best key lime pie. And see in your mind that moose, that sturgeon in the Delaware, or way down the manatee in Florida. That's what we're connecting, and we can still connect. All these communities we talked about, from DC, Philadelphia, New York, from Bahaba down to the rural South where I grew up, you know, and it's great. It's all great. You're all wonderful. And we're providing this critical connection between people. And so I just want to say, you know, this is a really tough period for all of us. Millions of people have lost jobs. Too many people have lost their lives. And we've been separated, all of us, from people that we love. And so what gives me hope is trails and greenways can keep us alive, can keep our peace of mind, as we've already talked about, can keep us as physically healthy as we can be. And then we can get out there and we can share that with our friends. We can lower costs of transport for people that have lost their jobs. We are more critical than we've ever been in this public health crisis and this economic crisis. So it's time for us to work together. And what we can do. We can get greenways and trails investment as a core component of upcoming federal stimulus. That's very important, and it's a key opportunity for us. And I just wish all of you great health. I hope that we can build a healthy, sustainable, and economically prosperous future for everyone in our corridors, everyone that we're connecting. So wishing you well, and I look forward to seeing you on the Greenway soon.
Thank you so much, Dennis and Mike, for your leadership and all of your support during this time. And Dennis, when you were saying, you know, the best blueberry pie to the best key lime pie, my family is from Maine. And so grandma's probably watching. Hi, Grandma. And all I can think about is getting up there to the Downey Sunrise Rail Trail and some of the best blueberry pie in Machiasport, Maine, which is where they have the annual Blueberry Festival every August. And that is some good pie. So 2021, I'm looking forward to some pie up in Machiasport, Maine on the rail trail. So we're about to go into just a really fast round of messages from staff and board and partners. But before we do, we have a couple of other winners from our Facebook comments and folks who just shared their stories of their favorite local trail and how it's helping them in this time. So Kate Lowline and Patrick Kelly, be on the lookout once the packages are allowed to be shipped. We'll get those RTC little packs out to you. And so happy for you to be with us today and sharing your stories of resilience and hope. So for the next few minutes, we've got staff from all over the country, board, and some partners who are just going to share really quickly a message about their local favorite trail, what trails mean to them right now, and really hope and optimism for what's to come. And we're going to kick that off with Kelly Pack.
Hi, everyone. It's so good to be with you all today. My name is Kelly Pack, and I'm a Rails to Trails Conservancy staff member in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Today, I'm thinking about how trails are unique places that allow us to experience both a sense of freedom and community togetherness. Growing up in West Virginia, one of my first experiences on a rail trail was a 17-mile bike ride along the Cranberry River. A feeling that I will never forget is the sense of freedom I had on my bike during that long ride. Now, decades later, when I asked my 6-year-old daughter why she loves trails, she quickly answered, "Because I get to go fast." Yeah, freedom, she gets it. Trails also give us a place and spaces to be together. The picture behind me is from the North Bend Rail Trail in West Virginia, and it was taken on opening day for trails last year. Trail programs and events help introduce more people to trails and remind us of all the different ways we can experience trails. I'm so grateful to all the local groups and managers that make our trails special places to be together, and I really look forward to being together with you all again soon. Thanks, and I'm going to pass it off to Elisa.
Thanks, Kelly. I hope you and the family are staying safe. I'm coming to you from Falls Church, Virginia today, where I'm an easy 5-minute walk to the Great Washington and Old Dominion Rail Trail, where I have sent my family today. We had a great time there last year where we were doing our opening day for trails event. I wish the weather was as nice there today, or as nice as it looks like it is behind me, but it's actually kind of cold and windy and overcast, but it's still so nice to get out and get some fresh air. I am the head of our fundraising efforts here at Rails to Trails Conservancy, and I just want to take a moment to thank all of our members who have supported us over the years. Your contributions, whether small or large, have helped us to advocate for trails, make trail systems happen, and support your local trail managers. You've been with us in good times and bad, and we cannot thank you enough for standing with us now and continuing to support us. Just one mention of the nice little buff that Brandy is wearing and that Rose showed you earlier. You can actually find that in the Rails to Trails trail shop. They're both available right now. We are continuing to send out all of our products. We're continuing to process all our gifts. Things are running as smoothly as possible, and we continue to thank you for your patience and your support of us. This is a difficult time, but we're going to get it through it together, and we just want to thank you again for all of your support over the years. It is my pleasure to introduce you to one of our best supporters and our board member, Gail Lipstein. How are you doing today, Gail?
a member of the RTC's board of directors. The Chester Valley Trail in my community is where we had planned in past years to celebrate RTC's opening day for trails with a bike ride and a breakfast event, but not today. I am fortunate to have this wonderful amenity practically in my backyard. My husband and I moved to our home 43 years ago, only about a half mile from the trail. At that time, we would still hear an occasional train whistle blow as it passed along this former short rail line. It was soon abandoned, and years later, we learned of Chester County's intent to convert it to a trail. Today, after 4 different phases of construction, it provides 14 miles of paved trail for recreation and commuting through multiple communities, and we are part of the circuit trails for the greater Philadelphia area. We are so thankful to our Chester County Parks and Recreation Department to allow this trail to remain open during the current crisis, and hope by following the suggested guidelines for use that we can continue to enjoy an outdoor experience. We urge all users to practice the safe distancing guidelines and good trail etiquette that will enable the trails to remain open. And I'm so grateful to have the opportunity every day to enjoy this lovely, peaceful space. So stay safe. Everyone enjoy the trails in your communities. And thanks for having this chance to say hello. Happy trails.
Patrick from DC, are you still with us?
Yeah.
I should say College Park.
All right, thank you. This is Patrick Gowen, Director of Government Relations at Rails to Trails Conservancy, and I am coming to you from College Park, where I have the pleasure of serving as our city's mayor. And we are working hard in College Park to make sure that people have an opportunity to get outside in a way that is safe and healthy for everybody. And you can see behind me here, this is Lake Artemisia, which is a centerpiece, our natural centerpiece in College Park. We have a 1.5 mile trail that goes around Lake Artemisia. That's one of the most popular trails in the DC metro. And because it's been so popular recently, we had to make it a one-way loop around the trail so that people are able to enjoy the beauty of Lake Artemisia and still socially distance. So I'm hoping that you all are getting a chance to get outside and enjoy nature and stay healthy and safe in this time. I know it's difficult for many of you. So.
Hi, everybody. I'm Torsha Bhattacharya. I'm the Director of Research at Rails to Trails, and I'm coming to you from Alexandria, Virginia. The trail that you see right behind me is Loudon Heights, Harper's Ferry. That's one of my favorite trails. My daughter loves it. We go there to see the railroads, the awesome views all around it, and it's challenging enough for both of us to get a workout. I'm so glad that right in front of my house, I have easy access to a trail. And now I see that at 5 o'clock, it is starting to get a little crowded because a lot of people get off work and are getting out to get their fresh air, walk their dogs. So what I have done is I've started staggering my time. I'll generally take a quick walk during my lunch time and come back refreshed for the second half of my work day. So staggering the times has helped me maintain physical distance with my fellow trail users while at the same time enjoying the lovely weather outside. Today it's a little windy and cold, so I'll do my meditation, yoga, and dance indoors. But other than that, it's always trails for me. And thank you. I'm thankful to all the healthcare workers. Thank you so much. Next up is Joe.
Hi, everyone. My name is Joe LaCroix. I'm the graphic designer at Rails to Trails Conservancy. I'm also checking in from the Arlington, Virginia area. As Brandy mentioned earlier about making sure we use trails that are close to us that we can walk to and ride our bikes to. I feel incredibly fortunate to have a network of trails literally in my backyard. I can get on one 4-mile run. It's my local trail that connects to the WNOD trail, which can take me all the way out west to Leesburg, Virginia. Or if I head east on 4-mile run, I can get to the Potomac River and have a beautiful route along the Mount Vernon Trail. And it's really driving home the fact that how vital these trails are and how much of a benefit it is to have in my community, and drive some of the work that we do to make sure that other communities have that the access to that as well. And if you can see behind me here, this trail is the Gailey Wilson Trail in Iowa that I was fortunate enough to get sent to as part of my job, which is one of my favorite parts of the job, going to do these mapping trips. And again, just more fuel to the fire of how amazing it is to see that these types of trails and networks exist in all different communities around the country, and makes me really proud of the work that we do here at Rails to Trails. So thanks for joining us, and I wanted to throw it next to one of our board members, John Rathbone.
The board of the Rails to Trails Conservancy, and I am sequestered on the eastern shore of Maryland. Trails are a wonderful way to get outside during this pandemic, and for me, to enjoy a little history. The trail I use is in St. Michael's, Maryland. Before bridges were built across the Chesapeake Bay, ferries brought travelers to the eastern shore and trains took them to the beaches at Ocean City. Today, a small section of the rail line that existed at that time has turned into a trail through St. Michael's. Because of the pandemic, our playgrounds and parks are sadly closed, but our trail is open. So I'm thankful that trails like this are available to many of us in this country as a way to get outside. If you do get outside on the trail, remember, be smart, be safe, and stay healthy, and enjoy this wonderful resource. And just take time to learn a little bit about the history of your trail.
Hi, everyone. I'm Liz Thorstensen, Vice President of Trail Development at Rails to Trails Conservancy. I'm coming to you from my front porch in Washington, D.C., where it is a windy day out here. I am so grateful to really all of you for tuning in, and in any way that you support trails, any of the great local trails or Rails to Trails Conservancy, if you've advocated for trails, done cleanups or donated money, anything you've done, really the trails movement exists because of thousands and thousands of people like you. So we know this even more right now as these numbers we shared earlier of trail use have just grown exponentially over this time. We know the restorative power that trails have, and I'm just so excited for the future of trails and hope that after this pandemic is all over, we still see this immense use of trails and care for trails over time. And I'm especially so inspired by the over 20 cities that have taken action to create extra space on their streets, whether they're park streets or neighborhood streets, to create safe spaces for walking and biking, from Austin, Texas to Des Moines, Iowa, to Duluth, Minnesota, to Seattle, Washington, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Cleveland, Ohio. So many cities of different scales and cultures have done this, and so inspiring to see how people can get outside and stay healthy and safe during this time. So grateful for all of you for turning in and continuing to support trails. Thank you so much. And I'm going to pass it over to Drew Dupuis on our team.
Thanks, Liz. I'm Drew. I'm Rails to Trails staff member based in Baltimore, Maryland. I like urban trails normally to get around my city, to connect to different communities, or just to use for active transportation. But I think right now, urban trails are especially important to provide people places close to their homes where they can get outside, get exercise, just get some fresh air. And we hope to see, like Liz mentioned, more cities open up more spaces for people to do that. Behind me is the San Antonio Riverwalk hike and bike trail. You might know the Riverwalk is a big tourist destination, but there's actually an extension of this trail that goes out from downtown through a lot of residential neighborhoods, connecting those neighborhoods and connecting to museums, historic missions, renovated renovated brewery that's a multi-use entertainment center. And so I just love all the different amenities and communities that trail connects people to. Now I'm going to hand it off to one of my colleagues, Leah.
Thanks, Drew. So hey everybody, my name is Leah Gerber. I'm coming to you from South Bend, Indiana, and I am a trail planner coordinator with Rails to Trails Conservancy. Today I just wanted to share a quick fact about mental health and spending time outside. So getting outside can actually help your brain take a break. When you go outside, it's not only fun, but it also helps you focus and improve your attention through what's called attention restoration theory. So you can get these benefits from taking time outside, or even just looking out your window or hanging out on your front porch. So when I've been feeling stressed or I want to refocus, I've been biking, walking, and even rollerblading on a trail outside my house, which seems to bring some smiles to people's faces. So I just encourage you to get outside or even look out your window, take a break, and reconnect with nature during this time if you have a chance. With that, it's been really great to join today. I hope you all have a safe and good weekend spending some time outside. Thank you to all the healthcare workers, teachers, and all essential workers during this time. And with that, I'm going to pass it on to Jimmy.
Thanks, Leah. Good to hear from you. This is Jimmy O'Connor. I'm a fundraiser for Rails to Trails Conservancy and speaking to you live from Loudoun County, Virginia, where I'm on the Loudoun County Parks, Recreation, and Community Services hiking and biking trail, conveniently right behind my house. So let's do a little walk and talk. Local trails like this have always been important to providing, near to home recreation and transportation. Now trails like this and really everywhere are maybe more important than ever, keeping people active while safely social distancing. Providing a mental break from these stressful times is really important these days. I've heard from many of you that you're still using trails, and that's great. I've heard from many of my friends that they're riding and walking new trails because their favorite trails are too crowded right now. And I've been doing the same thing with my family. In fact, my youngest and I, hi Rylan, hi. We rode this very trail on this Tuesday. It was her first mountain bike ride. We've walked it countless times, but this was her first time riding it by bike, and she loved it, and she did a great job. My family has more time on our hands these days, as I'm sure many of yours do as well, with sports and scouts canceled for my 3 children. We're finding our nearby trails a refreshing way to be together, doing what we love during this time of crisis. So I hope you're finding the same joy in trails. And if you're a supporter or a partner, thank you for helping keep trails open.
Hi, I'm Kate Kraft. I'm a board member of Rails to Trails and the executive director of America Walks, a partner. I'm showing you what you would see from my trail today. It's the Miami Beach Walk. And the weather was such that I didn't want to go out there today. However, I've seen all these people with their hats and their coats, and I think maybe I was a little bit of a lightweight not to go manage a little bit of raindrops. But the beaches here have been closed for weeks, but the trail has been open, and like every place else, it's been very busy, but there's a lot of work from the city and the rest of us to make sure people stay safe and distant enough so that we don't end up closing the trail. I think one of the things I'm most grateful for is that I get the blue sky, the turquoise water, and the warm air on my trail, and just the healing properties that has at this time when we all need as much healing as we can get. I hope your local trail has the same features and can give you some of the same healing properties. Thank you for having me be a part of this. It's been a lot of fun. And now I'm going to pass it to Ed.
Hello, I'm Ed Chang, a Rails to Trails board member from Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. I'm a Rails to Trails board member from Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, and I'm also chair of the Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia, a founding partner of the Circuit Trails, which is a Rails to Trails Trail Nation project, and one of the largest multi-use networks in America with 330 miles of completed trails to date. I'm so happy to see so many friends and supporters, such as the William Penn Foundation of the Circuit, on this call. Behind me is a photo of the Valley Forge National Park, which is a 20-mile ride from downtown Philadelphia and directly accessible via the Schuylkill River Trail, a segment of the Circuit Trails and my favorite local go-to trail. While the COVID crisis has brought many challenges, I'm encouraged by the massive increase in local trail users, as we've heard. In Philadelphia, for example, figures from counters along local trails show that usage is up by as much as 471% compared to the same time frame last year. To help cope with the increased use, as you've heard, some of the local groups with the support of Rails to Trails have advocated and convinced our local city to close down Martin Luther King Drive, which is a paved 4-mile road alongside the Schuylkill River, and to allow more people to get outside and get some exercise in a socially distant manner. Our local groups continue to advocate for additional street closures, and we hope that along to follow the example of other cities, which have closed down more roads in the cities to allow people to get out and get some fresh air. I'm most hopeful, while there have been so many challenges of this crisis, but that one positive is that many more people are aware of the benefits of trails and recognize the importance of advocacy organizations such as Rails to Trails and expanding our trail networks.
Brian Houseshare, Rails to Trails Conservancy's Midwest Policy Manager and Council President for the Village of Yellow Springs, Ohio, a welcoming community and everyone's favorite place. And behind me, you will see the iconic Little Miami Scenic Trail, part of the nation's largest paved trails network. And we are fortunate to have it come right through our town. I wanted to emphasize that elected officials recognize the importance of outdoor recreation for physical and mental health. And I want to ask you to help us keep these trails open by doing your part in terms of physical distancing. Specifically, we want to make sure that you stay local when you recreate, and understanding that some of us don't have opportunities locally. If you do need to go to other communities to walk, bike, or roll safely, make sure that you play by the rules. Make sure that you are maintaining at least 6 feet distance from others, wearing a mask to be respectful, and helping to save lives. We will all get through this together, so stay positive, stay healthy, and be kind.
Thanks, Brian. So I'm Mary Ellen Kuntz. I'm the manager of trail resources at RTC. And like Kelly and Randy and many others mentioned, trails are a great place for kids and a lot of fun to have that kind of freedom and get to ride your bike really fast. I would know I was one of them. And now I get to spend every day at RTC talking to you all about the trails that you have already built and all of them that you're hoping to build soon all across the country. And it's just a lot of fun. And when we're not there, I think we're all out riding the trails ourselves. Thanks. I'll pass it over to Kevin.
Thanks, Mary Ellen. This is Kevin Belanger. I'm a manager of trail planning at Rails to Trails. I live in Washington, D.C. And you could see the behind me here, perhaps, I live right next to Rock Creek Park. And echoing what Leah had said, I really find this time the plus side is really slowing down that I feel like some of us are able to do. I'm recognizing that many people are not able to, but I'm very happy to have that ability to slow down a little bit. I'm noticing things on my daily walks that I've never seen before. For instance, walking through Rock Creek Park, I've seen a coyote the other day chasing a deer. And I saw a white squirrel for the first time. And someone from down the trail was like, isn't that cool? That squirrel comes by every day. They live in the cemetery nearby. Just feel like conversations that I wouldn't really have with people otherwise. So hopefully you can also take some time to slow down and enjoy the trails while we're out here.
Yes, hi everyone. This is Anthony Lay. I'm also on Team RTC, Digital Content and Web Manager. And I just wanted to say that I've been using this time as Randy mentioned earlier, to practice. I just got a bike earlier this year. So what I've been doing is I've been riding to work, even though we're working remotely. So I've been practicing different routes and ways to potentially bike to work. And so once everything is safe and we'll be back in our offices, I'll be ready to add that commute to my life. So that's been an exciting thing. Also, the photo here behind me is the Virginia Creeper Trail. So it's a Rails to Trails Hall of Fame trail. So add that to your bucket list. It's on the border of Virginia and Tennessee. So add that one to your list. Again, please, I hope everyone is staying safe, and please stay safe and healthy and be kind. And I will kick it off to Suzanne.
Hi, everybody. My name is Suzanne. I'm Team RTC's social media manager. And I just want to say thank you all for sharing those inspirational stories and ideas. As the person who's been doing my best to comment and respond to all of them, I'm just overwhelmed with happiness and gratitude. So thank you very much. Right behind me, you can see the good old C&O pathway there in DC. I've been spending this time rollerblading in my finest neon attire, like Leah from Team RTC as well. But before I turn it to Brandy for a wrap up, I wanted to remind you all to enter to win our grand prizes if you haven't already. They feature a new bicycle, courtesy of Sun Bicycles, Hydro Flask water bottle and hydration pack, Miracle Bell, and other RTC gear, most of which you've seen us sport throughout this broadcast. So make sure you do that before midnight tonight. It's been just an amazing day in celebration so far, but being selected to win one of these sweet grand prizes could probably help make it even better. So don't forget to enter online at railstotrails.org/celebratetrails. Thank you again for all that you all are doing for trails. It's been an honor to celebrate with you today. Stay safe, stay well, everybody. Over to you, Brandy.
So I am sitting here up in my, home office attic loft and just grinning from ear to ear. Every single one of your stories, what Suzanne's texting me is happening on Facebook. It is all so inspiring. And I feel so lucky to be a part of something and part of a movement that's bringing joy and optimism and really essential commuter routes right now for those workers who maybe don't have access to transit and really need to be able to bike and walk, whether they're working in grocery stores or working in the healthcare facilities. All of those essential services really require transportation, and trails have been a huge part of that too. And it fills my heart to know that we're making a difference in this moment. And I also want to echo what everyone said. Thank you to the healthcare workers who are risking themselves and risking their families to take care of all of us right now. So thank you. As we move forward, we have up on the screen our COVID-19 resources page. We are just continuing to add to that page information about ways that you can be safe, articles that you can share, direct links to TrailLink where you can check the status of trails or get contact information for local trail managers. We really encourage you to check before you go to make sure that they're open or that the facilities, what may or may not be limited. Direct link to sign that petition to help us in our effort to create more spaces across the country for people to be outside and active. Webinars that we've been doing for trail managers, materials for trail managers to borrow and replicate. I know in Cleveland, they shared the wing spread to demonstrate the 6 feet. There's a lot of really creative ways people have been trying to communicate what 6 feet really looks like. So those resources are there. Access to trail count data if you're curious what the latest is in terms of numbers. We've been updating that weekly. And then just ways that you can continue to support RTC and the work that we're doing to really help keep the trails community up to date and really connect people with trails all across the country. So as we get ready to sign off here, I hope everyone continues to celebrate trails today and every day, but do so staying safe. Remember to share the trail. Remember that there are so many new trail users out there right now. If a trail is crowded, wait, go home later. I loved what Shorsha shared about how you're going for an afternoon walk because at 5 o'clock, people clearly need a break from their workday and those trails are super, super packed. And remember that 6 feet of distance and that face covering is super important to protecting yourself and really protecting others at this moment. So thank you all so much. We're gonna close with just one last little video. We've got a lot of messages that have come in prior to today, messages of gratitude for trails and the outdoors and each other during this time. So I'm going to carry this optimism with me for the rest of the day, and I hope you do as well. Thank you so much.
Greetings from the Pacific Northwest. Like many Oregonians, access to nature is essential to my physical and mental health. When all of this is over and I can visit with people out on the trails, I'm looking forward to visiting with family, friends, and our RTC supporters. Thanks for your continued support and encouragement of our work. Please stay safe and happy trails.
This is Patricia, a media consultant for Rails to Trails Conservancy. This year, as we are all navigating the COVID-19 pandemic, I am reimagining the annual opening day for trail celebration to make my own driveway into a trail at home.
all so much. Have a great afternoon.